Like what looks different from before till after?
I think before I was really letting my thoughts drive how I was feeling. And then that was leading to eating and all sorts of other just not great behaviors and determining if I was just going to give up. And now I'm really seeing these thoughts show up like, oh, here's a scenario of a conversation that happened. And I start playing. I'm like, that conversation's over. We're not even going to play it. And so I'm really starting to see how
Mm.
the mind is bringing things back in that have already been solved. And we don't have to create these problems. And I just never saw that before. I would sit and ruminate and overthink on things that
Yeah.
I'm like, I can let it go. We're just going to move on.
Yeah, and there was a couple real world examples, and I was gonna see if you'd mind maybe sharing this, because I think a
Sure.
lot of times people can hear this and they're like, "But what does that actually mean?" And you gave this example of a car situation,
Mm.
and you gave an example of a scale situation where
Hmm.
you, during the course of the 6-week intensive, you're like, "Hey, guys, this actually showed up for me today, and this is how I responded differently into it in the moment." Would you mind sharing those 2 examples with us today?
Sure. I'll do the scale one first. So I had been avoiding the scale consistently weighing because it was going up, 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 and I wasn't liking it. And then as I've gone through this last 6, 8 weeks, I've been seeing a trend down. And all of a sudden, LB popped up with, well, if you had been weighing 6, 8 weeks ago, you would have seen a bigger loss and you should have done it. I'm like, well, guess what? 6, 8 weeks ago, you told me not to weigh. So which is it? And
Yes.
that was just kind of this moment like, no, like we can't go backwards. And so yeah, that was one big way that I showed LB just showing up or saw it showing up and saying like, nah, we're not going to do this. This is, you can't tell me to do one thing and do it again later. And I see it all the time in so many other ways now.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've used that example, but I think sometimes, like, hearing more and more examples, which that's one of the cool things about working with a small group of people like
Hmm.
what we were, 20, because people are willing to share
Yeah.
how it's showing up for them, and then you're like, "Oh, me too," right? But, like,
Yeah.
I've used the example, like, you have a bad day at work, your brain's like, "Oh, go eat the chocolate. You had a bad day at work." But then
Hmm.
that's the same mind that comes in the next morning when you step on the scale and you're up a half a pound that goes, "Oh, you're so stupid. Why did you have that chocolate yesterday? Now we're up a half a pound," right? Just like your scale situation, not realizing it's contradicting itself because it doesn't have a higher executive function. It's saying in this moment the scale is upsetting her, so I'll say let's do something more restrictive, right? But then
Yeah.
when work is upsetting you, let's have the chocolate. And they cancel each other out. So share with us the other example, the car situation.
Oh yeah, so my fiance had bought a car that's just not a great car, and he knew my opinion on it. And he came in, he went to go leave, and his car wouldn't start, and he came in all flustered and grabbed a different car. And as I'd left, he and I both had places to go, and I'm driving down the road, and all of a sudden, my mind just started telling me a story of a scenario of what could have happened, and just started spiraling. And I literally just out loud said, "Dude, stop it." Literally, this conversation already happened. This isn't happening. That's not even the scenario that's going to happen anymore. And my daughter looked at me like I was crazy because I said it out loud. I was like, just ignore me. But,
Yeah.
and I ended the conversation. I was like, this isn't a conversation to have. Like, there's no conversation here. The conversation with the car happened. He went to his thing. I went to my thing. It's not even going to be a real thing. That's not just going to happen.
Yeah, 100%, and you were able to go where you needed to go, he
Hmm.
was able to go where you
Yeah.
needed to go, but yet it's ruminating, right?
Yeah.
It's like, "But what if this had happened, and what if that had happened?" And in the past for old Kristy, if she had followed that train of thought, if she had really gotten mired in it and been like, "Heck yeah, he's a bozo for buying this car, and I gotta have this real big meaningful conversation with him about it," like, what where could that have taken you to, either with your relationship or with your, say, your eating or other behaviors because you were really riled up about it? How might that have impacted you?
I think it would have definitely impacted the meal I had after I went to my appointment. To be honest, I would have really been just thinking about it and thinking, "Oh man, we're gonna go over and over this car, and here we go." And now he's gonna try and take the car back that he said that I could drive from now on, and I'm not gonna get to have this, and I have to go drive the other car. And before I know it, when I went to Chick-fil-A, I probably wouldn't have gotten the chicken nuggets and salad. I would have gotten a sandwich. And so I just chose in that moment to see, you know. It didn't happen, but if it had happened and I just kept going down that path, I just would have totally spiraled. And my daughter be like, "Let's go get out food out to eat." I'm like, "Yeah, let's do it. Like, who cares?" And I came home, and to be honest, he was still in a funk about it, and I just didn't even let it bother me. I just let him be in his funk about his car, and the next day he fixed it.